thrill me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
It's Review It Man, reviewing what he can. Movies are his jam, so let's get twisted, man. It's Review It Rob. Hey yo, welcome into a brand new episode of the Review It Rob Show. Appreciate you joining in to hang out with me this week, man. This week's episode is going to be focused with the spoiler-free review of The Bikeriders, man. New motorcycle-y movie out to talk about. We'll get into that, of course, spoiler-free like I just mentioned. And then, I got some news for you with horror, with DC, and all other kinds of things happening in the realm of movies, man. So like always, appreciate you joining in. Let's go ahead and jump into this bad boy. The Bikeriders is rated R for language throughout, brief sexuality, strong drug use, and violence. The film runs in at 1 hour and 56 minutes and is a crime drama movie that is currently showing in theaters. After a chance encounter at a local bar, strong-willed Kathy is drawn to Benny, the newest member of a Midwestern motorcycle club named the Vandals. Led by the enigmatic Johnny, much like the country around it, the club begins to evolve, transforming from a gathering place for local outsiders into a dangerous underworld of violence. And forces some things there. So, again, spoiler-free talks about this movie. You might have heard me pause when I said the runtime, because 1 hour and 56 minutes, that is surprising to me, actually. I don't remember it being that long. It did not feel that long either. It did not feel like it was 2 hours to me. So, jumping into it with the Bikeriders, I remember when I first saw this on scrolling through social media, I'm like, okay, cool, that's interesting. I'll definitely check that movie out at some point. I wouldn't say I was overly hyped out about it the first time seeing it or anything like that. I like Austin Butler. I thought he was fantastic, and Elvis, kind of following him since then, because obviously very talented performance in Elvis, and just seeing what else he could do from there. I'm like, cool. And then, of course, I always love Tom Hardy, and Jodie Comer is fantastic as well. So I'm like, strong cast. Like, this is going to be an interesting movie, sure. Wasn't overly hyped for it. Then I saw the trailer for this movie. I'm like, oh, boom, bang, I'm in. This looks freaking awesome from the get-go. And I know not most movies are hit and miss for some people and all that, and we're all into, like, it's subjective, right? Movies are all subjective, but I saw that trailer. I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. Like, this is a movie I will find a way to enjoy, and I got really hyped up for it, man. And then leading up to seeing it, this movie and The Exorcism. I keep messing up the name because Russell Crowe was just in an Exorcist movie. But both these movies came out the same day. I'm like, which one, I want to see both, right? But obviously I was like, would much rather see the Bikeriders, because I was kind of anticipating. I was excited for it to go into it and all that stuff, man. So, like I mentioned there in the synopsis, real quick, our main characters here: Kathy, played by Jodie Comer; Benny, played by Austin Butler; and Johnny, played by Tom Hardy. Those are your three main characters here. But it is focusing on a biker gang called the Vandals, and the beginning of that and what goes into all that stuff. I'm not a biker. I don't know the biker lifestyle or anything like that, so it's always interesting to see stuff like this. And then, this movie isn't like Wild Hogs or anything like that. And that's not a shot at Wild Hogs. Wild Hogs is a fun movie in its own right or anything, but it's not like that. It's not overly comical. There are some comedy bits in here, but this is mostly a drama crime movie, and it's like a storytelling movie, I think, is the way to really go into this, because we're following these three main characters and the journey of starting up the motorcycle gang group, whatever you want to call it, the Vandals, and what happens as it gets known and as it grows, and what ends up happening here and what's going to happen there, and as something gets bigger and more people are interested in it and wanting to get into it and all that stuff. Like, what happens here? What happens with not just the biker group itself, the Vandals, but what happens with the families, right? And that's, again, where we get into our characters of Benny and Kathy. Kathy is hilarious. Jodie Comer doing a fantastic job playing that character. And you're following her mostly. She's telling the story in the movie. Like, the best way, I think, to compare it to another movie. If we're going to do that, I don't want to overly compare movies, but to help you understand kind of where this movie is going into wise, think of it like Almost Famous. If you've seen Almost Famous, if you've not, watch it. It's on Paramount Plus. I'm sure it's on something else, but I know it's on Paramount Plus. But that movie is very much It's about a kid who gets the chance to follow a band around and document their journey, right, for Rolling Stone magazine or whatever. This movie is based on a book, and the story of the movie is Jodie Comer's character is being interviewed by our person interviewing her, and she's telling the story of her first time meeting the gang and first time meeting Benny, and the story with her and Benny, and the back and forth of the lifestyle of being a part of the motorcycle gang and what it does to the families and everything like that. And it's intriguing, it's very interesting, it's good storytelling. That's why I said, brought it up a moment ago, that 1 hour 56 minutes. It did not feel like a 1 hour and 56 minute movie to me. Like, it felt very quick, breezy watch for me because I was enjoying what I was seeing. I was captivated by the story that was going on. The performances, obviously, the three wonderful performers I mentioned to you there with Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, and Tom Hardy. We know they're all fantastic. If you're still new to Austin Butler's fantastic. Like, just watch the Elvis movie. You get everything you need to know about how talented that man is. And apparently he was really great in Dune. I haven't seen Dune yet, but and he's awesome in this. And Jodie's great, and Tom Hardy's great. And it's a captivating story. Again, I'm not anywhere close to being related to Bicycle Gang, so I don't know the ins and outs and how it all works and all that stuff. So seeing movies like this with I don't know how true to life it is, but like I did mention, it's based on a book and inspired by real people. Like, not spoiler, but the credits do show, like, sometimes when they do these true movies, true story movies, Conjuring has done it with their films as well. They'll show photos of the people in the credits and all that stuff, and give you things like that. So it is based on reality. It is based on a true story. Whatever Hollywood did or didn't do to the movie, I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't overly researched it or anything like that. But overall, to me, that this was an enjoyable movie. Very strong storytelling, very well put together, very, very, very good cast. I mean, other than the three I just mentioned multiple times already, you've got Norman Reedus in this movie, you've got Michael Shannon in this movie. Like, just the whole cast is solid and strong in this movie. Those are the names, the people that maybe you don't know by name, value, you're gonna probably recognize, or even if it's people you don't recognize, everybody's doing their job and doing it very well in this movie. So, if you couldn't tell already, my thoughts on the film: very, very enjoyable film. It is currently sitting in my top 5 favorite films of the year so far. I've seen about somewhere between 25 and 30 new movies so far this year, and it's top five. Give and take, and by the time we get to the end of the year and I get to watch movies again and all that stuff, we'll see where it ends up going. I don't know if anything's going to take over my number one spot, but we shall see. There are plenty of other movies still to come out this year, but um, overall, Bikeriders is very good. Very good drama crime movie, storytelling movie, very well put together, very worth your time to watch and all that stuff, and just interesting. Again, even if you're not into like biker stuff or anything like that, I'm not overly into biker stuff, right? That's nothing against them. Cool, live your life, to treat people fine, everything's good, right? But I I don't know much about it. I've never gotten into it. I've no work around that world or get involved in that world or anything like that. But it's a captivatingly cool story, man. So, Bikeriders is definitely worth your time as far as I'm concerned. Go check it out. It is currently in theaters. All right, so there you go. Let me know if you saw the film over the weekend. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, man, or if you plan on going to see it if you're interested. But again, think Almost Famous style kind of film, but with bikers, right? Kind of film, not obviously a lot like Almost Famous, but you get the gist. All right, so go over there. Let's jump into some news real quick. In horror, one thing to really talk about here, and that is we got an update on Mike Flanagan's Exorcist film. Universal, Blumhouse, Morgan Creek have given a release date for the film of Friday the 13th in 2026. It will be releasing March 13th, 2026. The film, again, is described as a radical new take. That's all we know about the film right now because people love radical new takes on horror franchises. Just look at the Halloween franchise. But we'll see how it all ends up working out. Again, I've enjoyed The Exorcist. I love the first Exorcist film. It's one of my all-time favorite horror films. I really enjoyed Exorcist Believer as well. I don't understand the hate there, but again, like I mentioned before, films are very subjective, so what have you. But I'm interested to see that. I like Mike Flanagan, I like his style, and I'm interested to see what this radical new take that he'll be putting on the Exorcist franchise will be, man. So there you go. That's the horror talk. DC. We got two trailers over the last week since we've talked here. We got the Penguin trailer, which again, this is the Penguin show starring Colin Farrell. It's in the world of the Batman film franchise that we've seen recently. Um, Matt Reeves put out there. That's something I really digged about that trailer too. Is it starts off after the we got to announce we have a trailer coming thing. I don't know when that started, to be honest with you. It was like, oh, the trailer's about to start. Here we go. All right, cool. I'm gonna watch the trailer, and then before the trailer starts, it's like, we're gonna show you a quick clip that you're gonna see later in this trailer, and then we're gonna show the title card, and then we're gonna go into the trailer. I don't know when that started. We can stop doing that for sure. But I like how it shows the flood scene in the Batman, and kind of shows us the movie. The series will be taking place pretty much right after that, which is so freaking cool, so awesome. Glad they're doing that, man, and it looks really good. Colin Farrell, I liked his portrayal of the Penguin in the Batman, and can't wait to see how the show turns out. But from just looking wise of what we've seen trailer so far, it looks really freaking good. Like, I'm excited for that. And of course, I'm a huge DC fan, so it's gonna be already up on my list of things I'm really excited to see. But yeah, we're gonna have that for sure. Let's see. Other than that, Amazon Prime Video debuted the cast announcement teaser trailer for the animated series that's upcoming, the Batman Caped Crusader animated show. Gives us confirmation of Hamish Linklater will be voicing the Dark Knight, and the teaser included his voice as the Batman, the Dark Knight there. So you probably get the idea of what his voice sound like. I'm gonna have to get used to it. I wasn't overly into the voice the first time I heard it, but I'll get through it. Um, but yeah, he was announced. The teaser trailer also announced some more names, just real quick. McKenna Grace, fantastic, talented performer. She is going to be in the show. Not sure who she'll be voicing. Minnie Driver is in the animated series. Dietrich Bader, Jamie Chung, Christina Ricci, and more. Christina Ricci will be voicing Selena Kyle slash Catwoman. Harley Quinn will be voiced by Jamie Chung, and Harvey Dent slash Two-Face will be voiced by Dietrich Bader. So that's all we know so far, casting wise. We'll see how everything ends up going. The show itself is a reimagining of the Batman mythology that includes executive production from J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, and Bruce Timm. Good to see Bruce Timm included there. Cape Crusader is set and built around the series, Batman the Animated Series, that had its run from 92 to 95, I want to say. So, yeah, 92 to 95. So, that's cool, man. I'm glad that they got this, because this was scrapped at Maxis when they were doing terrible decisions of scrapping things. And this is obviously cool that Amazon Prime's picking up, and can't wait to check it out, man. Again, huge DC fan. Love Batman. Batman's my favorite DC character. Um, so yeah, I'm into it. I'm excited to see how that all ends up working out. Let's see other bits of news. Well, we got some fun things happening for DC. Marvel is still having a lot of trouble with this Blade film that just continues to have change after changes after changes. And the latest one being that the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie will no longer be set in the 1920s as it was originally put. It will now be present day. So if they ever end up making this movie, because good lord, that movie is going through so many issues. But I think this is a good change, actually. I mean, while it'd be fun to see a 20s period piece with vampires and all that stuff, if we're gonna connect it to the MCU, yeah, put it in present day. Why not? Like, I don't, I don't know. In all honesty, I really don't know what they're doing over there. So, more power to them. Good luck to you. But yeah, get that figured out. Like, I mean, I don't know what's holding them up over there. I don't know why they keep losing direction. I don't know if Kevin Feige is stopping things from happening over there. I don't know what's going on. But it does not seem like Blade should be something that should be all that hard of a thing to put together, especially since you had, what, 3 Blade movies before. You kind of get the idea of how that would work, and then you got a talented actor already on, contract to do the thing with Mahershala Ali. So what is the problem? Like, what can we now get figured out with the vampire movie? All right, it shouldn't be this hard. That's just my opinion. Let's see. Spaceballs is getting a sequel. Josh Gad is set to star and produce as well. Mel Brooks is returning to produce the sequel. So, fun times, man. If you haven't seen Spaceballs, go check it out. It's a good, fun um, comedy movie that, a bit of a parody of the Star Wars. Not even a bit. It's a lot of a parody of Star Wars, but it's a fun time. It's a good fun time, and them getting a sequel so many years later. I know some people are like up in the air about how they feel about movies getting sequels decades later and all that stuff. We'll just have to wait and see how this turns out, but it could be fun. I like Josh Gad. I think Josh Gad's a talented dude, so I'm into it. It's good to know that Mel Brooks is back to help produce, so you'll have that person there to help out with trying to keep it as close to the first movie as possible. Because again, this is a sequel, so you want to keep it pretty close, right? So cool. I'm into it. I like it. All right, and let's see. Last bit of news here. If you are like me, you've been waiting for the director's cuts of Rebel Moon to come out before you jumped in and watched that film on Netflix. Well, officially got some information for you on when we'll get to see these director cuts. Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon films have been changed to a new name, and they are, quote, sexier and bloodier versions of the Netflix saga that we've been able to see already on the Netflix. Netflix's new director's cut version of Rebel Moon, Snyder's cut, if you will drop on August 2nd with two newly titled chapters instead of two parts. The original released Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, and Part 2, The Scar Giver. The director's cuts will now be called Rebel Moon Chapter 1, Chalice of Blood, and Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness. What a weird curse. Huh. Okay, but there you go, man. So August is when we're gonna finally get those things. It's the end of June. It's my birthday week. Thank you very much. But it is the end of June, so the whole month of July to get through, and then August 2nd will be here, and then we can finally watch the Rebel Moon films the way they are intended to be seen. The director's cut version of it, if you will. Not even if you will, it is actually what you will be getting. So, I like Zack Snyder. I'm not a huge Zack Snyder fan like a lot of Snyder fans are, the Snyder bots, as people call them. Which it's unfair. You can be a huge Zack Snyder fan and not be a complete dickhead. I like Zack Snyder. I've enjoyed his work. I am ready for a new world of DC, and I'm glad we're getting it. And it stars Sofia Boutella, who's easily one of my favorite actresses. So I'm excited to watch Rebel Moon. I've just been waiting to see these director's cuts and all that, which I don't know, maybe isn't the right thing to do. Maybe check out both. I don't know, but I'm glad we now have a release date for it. We don't have to sit around and wait anymore. So that's happening. So fun times. Anything else to talk about here? No, it does not look like it. So there you go, man. That is this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, appreciate you joining in here and hanging out and listening to me talk some movie stuff. Bikeriders, I did thoroughly enjoy. Had a great time. Was invested throughout the film. Good time story telling, not good time. There, it's a drama. It gets a little rough and tough, but I did really enjoy that movie. I like that movie a lot. That is currently in theaters, so check that out. Horror news: Exorcist Mike Flanagan will be coming out on Friday the 13th, 2026. We've got some new DC stuff with new trailers out there for the Penguin and Batman Caped Crusader. And then Blade still having issues. Spaceballs is getting a sequel, and Rebel Moon director's cuts are all finally known. So there you go, man. That's going to do it for this episode. As always, appreciate you taking the time to listen to me ramble on about movies. I have a fun time doing this show. I love doing this show, and I'm glad that you're here with me to hang out, man. That's awesome. It's a fun time. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year. And as always, remember that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.